I've got 2 or 3 old PCs I'd like to refurbish and see if I can put back to good use. Alright, 11 or 12 old PCs. Let's see what we've got and what we can do with them. Being an IT guy, I end up with a lot of computers laying around the house. Some are from my own upgrades, and some are discarded from customers. They ask me to take them away after I install a new machine for them. A number of these computers may not work at all. For them we might need to do some repairs or replace some parts. I do have a number of old motherboards, GPUs, RAM, hard drives and such. Just how old are these computers, you might ask? While they're not technically retro yet, they're certainly not in their prime. They range from Athlon XPs, Core 2 Duos, up to maybe a 4th gen Intel Core series. The goal will be to see just how many computers we can get up and running and what we can do with them. We can put them back into good use. Let's start with this one. And there you can get an idea of what we're dealing with, just judging by the ports on the back. It's still got PS2 ports, although it does have USB 3. Seems to not have a video card. Alright, let's get this out onto a tray. A little bit of a cable mess. And a lot of dust. So you can see it had a video card in here, it's been unplugged. AM3 Plus motherboard. Some sort of AMD. Some sweet HyperX RAM, blue sticks. Oh, it's got a hard drive. This SATA port looks like it's a bit damaged. It's a bit dodgy. Let's see if we can find a video card for it. How about this sweet Sapphire HD 5550, 1GB, DDR2. Might need a bit of a clean up. Now, of course, I'm not sure if this video card even works. We'll soon find out what works. It's fairly dusty. Cleaned up the contacts. Now, the moment of truth. I'm pretty sure my old monitor still works. That's important. Alright, plugged in. Here goes the switch. No fire. Alrighty, let's try it. Wait. Want it to come on? Just check. Got blue light. Asus. Nice. Oh, we've got power. Fan spinning. Nothing on screen. Oh, there we go. Reboot and select proper boot device. Works. Nice. Let's turn it off. The power switch is a bit dodgy on this case. It's pushed in. Now, looks like the hard drive is plugged into a SATA connector. There's a couple of extras in here. Let's get rid of those. I'll remove this one on the broken SATA port. So that says SATA 3_3. Hard drive is plugged into SATA 3_2. Let's try it in 1. There must have been an optical drive plugged in. Yeah, there is one here, but it's not plugged in at all. Just press everything in, make sure it's in nice. Alrighty, here we go. I think my monitor turned itself off. I think we got nothing that time. I had to hold the power button in that time. It means it's at least gotten past post screen. So possibly the video card's not flash. Just unplug this hard drive altogether, just in case it's faulty. Give it another crack. Here we go, BIOS screen. You can see it's an AMD FX 6300. Ooh, 3.5 gigahertz. That CPU was alright back in the day. Intel was still kicking its ass. What have we got? It's got 8 gig of RAM. Holy crap. Alright, I'll plug the hard drive back in, just see if it wants to try and boot. Reboot and select proper boot device. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the hard drive is faulty. It's being detected at least, but maybe it just doesn't have an OS on it. It's possible this machine had a separate drive that had Windows installed on it. Let me just grab a keyboard real quick and see if we can get into the BIOS and see if that drive is detected. PS2 keyboard, machine has to be off before you plug them in, otherwise it doesn't detect. Keyboard in the purple hole. Now which key do you reckon it'll be? Delete, F2. I'll press a couple of them. We're in. we go. Boot option 1, ST1000. That's a 1TB Seagate drive, so it's detected. Just probably no boot petition on it. Nice, so this machine might just work. It had no video card though. I'll pull this video card out and I'll use it in other machines as well, because we know it works now. We know that RAM works, we know the power supply works. It's a pretty good one, 850 watt Corsair. This one's got a DVD burner in it, or a multi-drive. Nice. Next. Might grab some sticky notes so I can just write down on each machine what their problems are. So, after rifling through my wife's drawers, wait, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, turns out we don't have any sticky notes, so I'm going to use a notepad and just stick them under the machine. So, works. No vid card. HDD detects. Not tested. No OS. Alrighty. First one down. Which one's next? This one, an all-in-one, I'm pretty sure it does not work. I had it working at some point, and then I remember testing it sometime later and nothing happened. Maybe the battery on the motherboard died, and it's a bit finicky. It takes a long time to pull apart, so we'll get to that one later. This one's pretty old. Let's have a look. This one actually used to be my old Media Center PC. It's quite dusty. There you are, no USB 3, VGA and DVI on board. Got a video card in here. Optical, Ethernet. It's got a Firewire port on board. Wow. And I guess it's a fan controller down here. Little knobby. Let's take its pants off and have a look. Oh wow, that one's on tight. Got it. Behold. Intel CPU of some sort. I can't remember, it might have been a Core 2 Quad. Got RAM, power supply, optical drive, no hard drive up there, possibly no hard drive at all. Whatever this video card is, very dusty. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Get the DVI cable for this one. See if I can see the model on this video card. It's a Gigabyte. Don't know, it's just got a serial number on it. Power in, I heard the click. Oh, cable in the fan. Powered straight on. It's not always a good sign. And turned off. The fan sounds nasty. One of these is not good. 3 beeps. It's normally RAM or video card. So let's take them out and reseat them. Let's see if we can find out which fan's noisy. That one. Looks like I'll have to take the video card out to take the RAM out anyhow. Let's grab a screwdriver. A bit bigger. Lovely. So this is a passively cooled video card. Great for a media center. Provided they don't overheat, of course. Bit dusty. There's the model number if anyone wants to look it up. NX86T512. Oof. I'll just clean the contacts. Now let's check that RAM. I've got a working video card here we can try also. Alrighty. 2 gig DDR2. 2 gig DDR2. Different models. Same layout though. One's got a pacer chips, the other one's got a data chips apparently. Right, I'll clean those contacts. So here we go. So it's in the blue slots here. Channel A, DIM 0, DIM 1, sounds like it's in the right place. Put them around the right way, they fit better. You might wonder, where's my anti-static strap? I don't feel like I need one on one of these. I'm always touching the side of the case, which is grounded through this cable that's plugged in. So I'm discharging myself on the case before I touch any of the components. Righty, RAM's back in. Just have a quick look at the capacitors. They all look good, actually. Let's slip this video card back in and see if it works. See, the cabling's a mess in here. Alrighty, cards in. Try it. No beeps. No display either. Nothing. Just try the other port. Still nothing. Well, my camera was complaining it was too hot, so I went and got a drink. Now let's take this video card out. Just try the onboard. The old on-off-on trick. That normally indicates a problem with power supply or capacitors. I'd probably say power supply. The thing's probably old. The board's fairly dirty, needs a good clean up. I don't think anything's shorting. One more little test before we call this one. Just unplug this drive. Sometimes a bad drive can cause the machine to stop booting, posting. There's definitely no hard drive in there. Double check all the cables. Unplug these SATA cables. Front panel USB that can come out. Just in case. That's front panel audio. Don't need that. Power switch is all good. Okay, we'll try this video card that we know works. Do the VGA. So we definitely know that port works. Right, here we go. Three beeps. Maybe this video card port's not too flash or needs a good clean out. No beeps. Alright. Let's call that one dead. Not dead, but not great. Getting the 3 beeps at least, so it's not completely dead. Put this video card back into it. Alright, back you go. Okay, so this one, let's go not working. Not work, that'll do, let's not write all day. Power on, vid suspect, 3 beeps, and on off on. I think I remember that machine doing that back when it was working. But it's a sort of machine, being a media center, it was just on all the time, so it didn't matter. Here we go. Next subject. Let's do this one, the silver one. Oh, the sticker says seller on D. Firewire in the front. Card reader. PS2 ports. Wow, it's got digital audio out. Look at that. In and out. Parallel port. More firewire. Oh, it's got a modem. Let's check it out. What have we got? Seagate hard drive. Wow, big cooler. There's that modem. 1 stick of RAM. Capacitors all look okay. One here looks a bit dodgy, but I think it's just got dust on it. Wow, that's an IDE optical drive. It's got an IDE cable. Sweet. Let's plug it in and see what happens. Doesn't look like anyone used a video card in this one, just onboard video. Fan spinning up. Power supply works at least. Hey, HP. Sounds like it's trying to boot. Wow. Windows XP. God knows what's on here. Man, that hard drive sounds slow. Not much by the looks. Someone was using Audacity. Norton Security. Whew. Nice. Now this keyboard won't work because I plugged it in while it was on. Give it the old shutdown routine. I'll try and get into the BIOS and check the specs. Oh, I'm trying to use the keyboard to hurry this up. I can't. I'll do the old hold the button in. Sorry, Windows. Okay. HP, what button do you think we should press to get into the BIOS? I'll press a few of them and see what happens there. What does it say? F1 for setup. Here we go. Wow, the date and time is... Time's a little bit out, like 15 minutes. Shit, that's pretty good. It's got a 1 terabyte Seagate. DVD RW, nice. 2 gig of RAM. There we go. Intel Celeron, 2.9 gigahertz. So it is a Celeron D. Ugh, I remember them being terrible. Cool, we've got a winner. Works straight out of the box, doesn't need any repairs. We might come back to it and give it a good clean up and probably have a little look around that Windows XP before we blow it away. Ooh, it powered on by itself. Back on the shelf, buddy. Collecting a bit of dust on my bench here. Let's have a look at this one. Alrighty, this one got some rust on the back. PS2, onboard video, nothing in the slots. Looks like it's never had anything in the slots. That's spaces are still welded on there. It's got a serial port on it. That's exciting. No thumb screws. This one doesn't have a Windows sticker on it either. Custom built job. Don't know where this one would have come from. One of the places I worked at used to sell these cases. It was this black model. There was a blue one with a blue kind of fascia and a red one. I think they were pretty popular there, so might not have been one of mine. There we go. Ooh, very dusty. Wow, look at the dust on that. Yuck. You didn't have a look at that. Oh, gross. Got Ripjaw's RAM in this one. ASRock G41M S3. I think that was a pretty popular board. Intel something or other. It's got a IDE port there, no drive. It's got an optical drive. Yeah, it just looks like the hard drive's been pulled. Capacitors all look good. In fact, the important ones are solid caps. Let's see what happens. That dust is disgusting. Yuck. The fan does spin, but man, it's going to sound terrible. Alrighty. Click. Fan spin. You can hear that optical drive checking. It's just powered off. Back on again. And off. It's just cycling. You hear that optical drive trying to read. I wonder if there's something in it. I can't get it to open. I'll just unplug it. Maybe it's faulty. Yeah, it's just cycling. Could be a faulty power supply. Let's just take the RAM out. Give it a little clean and reseat. This is just a quick way to clean the contacts. We'll come back and clean these machines up properly later. And just run your fingers along the contacts, you'll get most of the crap off. Right, let's snap in nice. Let's check all these power connections, unplug the SATA cables, unplug the front USB. Sometimes you can get stuff jammed or rusty USB ports that stop the thing from booting, from posting. Pull the front audio out, it's not necessary. We'll leave all the front panel buttons plugged in. Alright. Here we go. Staying on. Hey, we got something. Works. We just needed to clean that RAM up. Just quickly plug this optical drive in. I want to see if there's anything in it. Battery's about to go flat on my camera. I'll have to change it. It's open. Nothing in there. Okay. Cool. That machine works. I'll plug a keyboard into it and see if we can get the specs. I'll change the battery in the camera first. There, we're back. Fresh battery. Let's plug the keyboard in, another PS2 one. Try and get into the BIOS and check the specs. This button gets a little bit stuck. I remember that being a problem on these cases. There we go. What have we got? Pentium dual core. Wow. That's not a Core 2 Duo, that's a Pentium dual core. 2.7 gigahertz, 64 bits, baby. Processor speed 1.8. Okay. Got 4 gig of RAM. No hard drive, so there's no point looking for it. CPU is running at 34, motherboard's running at 32. Must be about 30 degrees in this room at the moment. Cool. That one works. It just needs a really good clean up and a drive. Yeah, no Windows sticker on this one, so you either have to find one or go with Linux. Old machine like that, you're probably better off with Linux anyway. Alright, let's take our notes. So, works. Not doing too bad here. It's a Pentium dual core. What did I say? 4 gig of RAM. I had 4 gigs. That would be a good little Linux box actually. No hard drive. Very dirty. Onboard video. I'm writing onboard video in the problems area of my note here. Oops. So I've looked at 4 machines. One didn't work at all. 3 of them do work. 2 of them work straight away almost. Let's look at another one. This one over on the end here. Now I recognise this one. This old one used to be a customer's computer that I refurbished already, and our son was using it for a while. So God knows what's on it. If it boots. Let's see, there's no video card. That's been taken out. However, we've got a port there. So they normally cover those ports up when they supply a video card with the machine. They cover it up so customers don't plug their monitor into there and then ring up and complain it doesn't work. Looks like it might have HDMI too. Yeah, there's the port there anyway. It's a Dell Studio XPS 8100. It's got Firewire though, so it's not super new. eSATA. There we go. There's my pointer. No RAM. Must have pulled this machine apart already. No RAM. No hard drive. No video card. But it's got onboard. Maybe it works. Who knows what that is? Can we work out what sort of board it is? These Dell ones don't normally give away too much. DH57M01. What type of RAM that is? DDR2 or 3? 2 probably, if it's got a Firewire port. So if I plug it in now, I'd expect it to beep, complaining that there's no RAM. That'd be one good indicator that it partially works at least. Green light on the power supply. Light came on the motherboard. Nothing happened when I pressed the power. Is the switch plugged in? Seems to be. Nothing. the board's getting power, but that power switch doesn't do anything. Let's try and do the old short with a screwdriver trick, just in case the button's no good. Nothing. Still got the light on the motherboard. It's amber. I know it hasn't got any RAM, but it should still power up and complain. It's a lot of dust, so there could be a short somewhere. Who knows? Alright, put it away, make our notes, and we'll get back around to it. Could just be the power supply even. Righty, so that one, no work. No RAM, no HDD, no vid. It's got onboard, not powering up. Alrighty. So we've had a look at 5 of the PCs so far. We've got a couple that are dead, a couple that work. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 desktop machines here. And then there's that all-in-one. There's also some laptops. We might get around to those. Hey, it's the next day, so if the lighting or the sound is a bit different, that's why. Let's check out some more computers. How about this little Lenovo? It says Core 2 Duo, Windows Vista. Woohoo. PS2 ports, got parallel and serial, no USB 3. Pretty sure this machine actually works. We'll check it out anyway. Okay, this one's got buttons. It might not even need a screwdriver. That just levers up. Hard drive, 320 gig. Woohoo! SATA optical drive. It's got 2 sticks of RAM. Let's see if we can work out how this goes. Let's see that. That looks like it levers up. Here we go. CPU's buried under there. There's a sticker on here. It's just Lenovo's serial numbers, part numbers. Looks very clean inside. Little tiny power supply. Wow. We'll just plug it in and see what happens. As I said, I think this one actually works. Might make a good little, I don't know, Windows or Linux on it. Or powered on by itself. That's not always a good sign. Mouse not found, keyboard not found. Fatal errors. Okay. Don't know how fatal that really is. I guess you can't do much without a keyboard plugged in at least. There's normally a setting in the BIOS called Halt on All Errors, and that'll be why it's halting when it doesn't find a keyboard. There we go, it's booting Windows XP. Sip of coffee while we wait for that. Yeah, those old hard drives aren't very fast. I have a few spare SSDs, just 120 gig ones, So we might pick a couple of these machines to get a nice SSD upgrade, hey? Control-Alt-Delete to begin. Windows XP Professional. So this was a business machine, clearly. Probably connected to a server. That's normally why you get the Control-Alt-Delete thing. Logged in as administrator. Cool. I want to try and get to the BIOS. I'll have a quick look at the specs and put it back again. That's a good one. It doesn't even need much cleaning up. When we come back around to it, we'll give it a good going over and make sure everything's good. But yeah, if you can think of a good use for this little thing, it's obviously not going to have much graphical power. It's got a PCIe slot in there, but it's a low form factor one, so I don't know if I've got any of those cards. Slow. Alrighty, date and time is correct. Model number, tag number. Integrated graphics, 8 meg. Oof. Oh, that's the maximum too. System summary, here we go. Core 2 Duo at 3 GHz. It's an E8400. So it's a good Core 2 Duo. 4 gig of RAM. We already know it's got a 320 gig hard drive. CD-ROM is DVD multi-drive. So it'll read DVDs and burn CDs. Cool. Oh look, there's a fingerprint option. That's weird. Pre-desktop authentication. You can hear the fan spinning a bit faster as it heats up, so maybe we'll need to redo the thermal paste on the CPU when we get around to it. Alright, it's a good one. Next. Can't forget to write our note. So, works. Core 2 Duo 3.0 320 gigabyte hard drive. Was it 4 gig of RAM? 4 gig used to be a great amount on XP. Boots to XP Pro. Nice. This is a dusty boy. Seen better times, this one. Got a big gap here. This case used to be my file server for a long time. I recently upgraded it. Let's see how well I took care of it. So we've got USB 3, full of dust. SPDIF. PS2 ports though. It's not super new. It's got a decent Antec 750 watt high current gamer. It's got a good power supply in it. As I said, it was my file server, so I wanted it to have a decent power supply at least. I would have taken all the drives out of it, so I don't expect there to be drives in it. There should be RAM, I think. Maybe. Oh. Very dusty. Alright, got a nice Noctua fan. Not too dusty. All the cards have been removed. I believe this is it's an AMD FX 6300. So 6 core, 6 threads. It's got RAM. I think it's actually got 32 gig of RAM. So that'll be DDR3, 32 gig. No drives. It's got a fan bus in there. The motherboard's pretty nice. ASRock 970 Extreme 4. It's got power and reset buttons are right there. It just needs a really good cleanup. This machine should work. I think if we turn it on, it will post. It did last time when I turned it off anyway. It'll be a big job cleaning this one up actually. The case isn't too flash. This front panel just falls off. I guess there were screws in it at some point, but yeah, the clips are a bit dodgy. Doesn't matter. There's a couple of points here you can screw in just to hold it on. So we could probably clean it up alright. Get rid of some of this rust maybe. Go over it with a Dremel and a wire brush wheel. Right, no video card in this, and there's no onboard. Use our little tester. Here we go. Everything's coming on nicely. This fan isn't running. It's unplugged. Must have started failing. There we go. Yeah, FX 6300 running at 3.5. 8, 16, 32 gig of RAM. Yeah, so this is a corker, this one. So we know we've got a ton of RAM in there. We don't necessarily need 32 gig in whatever we're going to do with this machine. So maybe if another machine needs RAM, we can steal half of it. Or maybe we could build it up as another virtual server. Though the CPU is not super strong. Cool, happy with that. Needs a really good cleanup. Oh, I'm going to take our test video card out. You can't keep that, buddy. So this ran my Unraid server for a number of years with like 8 hard drives in it. Alrighty. Works. We're not doing too bad here. FX 6300, 32 gigabytes DDR3, no hard drive, very dusty. Nice. Yeah, this one interests me. Looks like custom built Antec case. Says AMD Athlon 2, so it's not going to be Screamer. It's got a Windows 7 sticker on it. Oof, man, look at that dust in that groove there. There's no way this thing was breathing. It's clogged. It's very poor design. Ooh, look at that. It's got USB 3. Although it's got PS2 for the keyboard and mouse, or mouse. It's got a ton of USB. It's got eSATA, 1394, Firewire, VGA, DVI, HDMI. Wow, it's pretty rare to see a machine with HDMI on board, along with PS2 and Firewire. Looks like it probably had a video card at some point. Cool. This one opens at the top. What can you see? Righty, That heatsink's really caked in with dust. It's got two RAM sticks right next to each other. That's not normally right, but they're in the same coloured slot, so it's probably right. Normally RAM slots are staggered and you leave a gap between banks. One thing I can see is the battery is missing from the board. The hard drive's been unplugged. So maybe someone's had a look at this, probably me. 380 watt Antec power supply would have came with the case. It's the cheapo one. DDR3. It's got all solid capacitors, that's great. AM3, nice. Let's try it. Got power. Whoop. Sounded like the optical drive just closed. Post error. Profile 1, success boot record, last known good. CMOS checksum error here, well there's no battery in it. Hard drive's not plugged in so it won't boot. That's probably the no keyboard error. The power button's a bit dodgy. Sticks in a bit. A good old PS2 keyboard, another workout. Let's plug this hard drive in too. This has got a floppy drive and IDE port on board too, as well as 5 SATA ports. Oh, it's got the eSATA at the back. There's your sixth one. Alright, here we go. See if we can get into the BIOS first. Complaining. Not getting anything. Started up that first time. Now it's just beeping. Maybe it's just thoroughly happy about not having enough battery. I'll go and get some. I'll be right back. Here we go. Fresh packet of CR 2032s. Plonk. Oh, one beep. Alrighty. Motherboard intelligent tweaker. Ooh, it's got all the overclocking stuff in it. Nice. Alrighty, so 500 gig Seagate drive. ST3500. Oh, that's right. Yep, 500 gig. It's got the floppy drive A configured in the BIOS but not installed. That's the default. I used to always go in and disable it in here just so the machine's not looking for something that doesn't exist. See, the date's all wrong too because it had no battery. 4 gig of RAM by the looks. Must be two 2 gig sticks. Yeah, healthy are we? CPU is running at 52 doing bugger all. Yeah, it's very clogged up with dust. Probably needs new thermal paste. Alright, we'll see if we can boot it. Let's set SATA to AHCI mode. Might not be. Seems to have a RAID BIOS on it too. So here goes Windows Vista booting by the looks. Oh, Windows 7, sorry, Professional. What was the sticker it had? Sticker's Windows 7 Home Premium. Not many home users actually owned Windows 7 Professional. It's got World of Warcraft, Realm of the Mad God, Steam, Technic Launcher, Tribes Ascend, AT Launcher, so I played a lot of Minecraft, WoW, Terraria, Assassin's Creed. Cool. Well, that one works. It's a pretty good board too, solid caps. It's not much RAM in it though. 4 gig. It's got 5 SATA ports. What did we say the CPU was? I don't think we saw that. Taking a long time to shut down. One more venture into the BIOS just to check the CPU. Oh, I went to sleep. Hate that. I like the power button to shut down, not go to sleep. Sleep mode's bloody useless in Windows. Crashes too often coming out of sleep. So if we do anything with it, we'll blow that Windows away. Looks like it's a mess. And there's no license for it. Current CPU temperature 75. Wow. The thing's not happy. Full screen logo. Let's turn that off. Now we might see something. Righty, Athlon 2 X4 635. So there was Athlon 2, there were X2s and X4s. The X2s actually had 1 or 2 of the cores disabled. They built all the same chip, and they tested them, and if some of them didn't perform properly, they'd disable 1 or 2 of the cores. So you could buy, it was possible to buy an X2 and then run this tool and possibly unlock 1 or 2 extra cores on it. It was pretty awesome. Obviously you'd have to test it and make sure the thing works properly then, because there's a reason those cores were disabled. Sometimes the reason is just for money. They need to make more of these products to sell, so they just turn off cores and sell them to a different market. Yep, so 4 gig DDR3 Athlon 2 X4. It's one of these annoying cases. The side panels slide in from the top, so then you have to take this silly top panel off to get into it. Might seem cool to whoever designed it, but if you've got to work on it, it's a real pain. Alright, another worker. Runs very hot though. So it's an Athlon 2 X4, 4 gigabytes DDR3. What size was the hard drive? Did we look? Was it 500 gig? Very hot. Dusty. Boots 2 7 Pro. No license. Actually, the license on that machine is for 7 Home Premium, so we could put that on it. And this next one's interesting to me as well. It's an actual IBM Think Center. IBM business machine before they sold their computer business to Lenovo. And check it out, floppy drive. It's got an actual floppy drive. says Intel inside, Pentium 4, Windows XP sticker, sealed for quality. It's got Windows XP Pro license on it. I'd be surprised if this one doesn't work, actually. Alright, PS2, it's got a heap of USB, probably just 2s. It's got Ethernet, parallel serial, VGA. No video card, probably never had one, just using the onboard VGA. Nice. This, no doubt, came out of an office. Look at that, the heat shroud. The heatsink's got IBM.com on it. Optical drives, IDE. There's the floppy drive plugged in. The hard drive is actually SATA. The SATA sockets look odd. They don't look like that anymore. It's like they're very minimal. The modern ones are a full rectangle you slot into. These are kind of open. It's got a heap of the old bad capacitors, so that might be a problem. It's got RAM, 2 in the black slots, IBM motherboard. It's got a big speaker in it. Oh, it turned on by itself. Think Center, yay! Pentium 4. System is starting. Product of Lenovo. So it must have been in that transition period before Lenovo started putting their own branding on all the stuff. There was quite a while where Lenovo actually produced the IBM products with the IBM labels on them before they fully switched over and took over. Intel Boot Agent, PXE, it's trying to boot from the network. Maybe the boot order's screwed up because it's been off for so long. You can hear the hard drive rattling, it's trying to boot. Windows XP. This one might be a fun one to do. Maybe we can do some DOS stuff with it. I love that it's got a floppy drive. That hard drive sounds pretty old. It's got a full-length PCI Express port and a 1x as well. It must have been, PCI Express must have been pretty new at that point. Yeah, Windows XP Professional, preparing network connections. So yeah, it's got the horrible capacitors. None of them look bulging at the top. A couple of them look a little bit wonky. Possibly they might be bulging at the bottom. We'll have to have a close look at that when we get around to cleaning it up. It's very clean on the inside. A lot of these office machines are very clean on the inside, just being in an air-conditioned office for their whole life. Control-Delete to begin. Cool. Well, we probably can't log into it because we'll be looking to log into a network. I'll grab a keyboard, see if we can get into the BIOS. These IBM BIOSes are normally a little bit restricted. They're quite different to the usual BIOS you see. It's a soft touch switch too, it's not a clicky one. Stop pressing buttons. Did I miss it? Pentium 4 with hyperthreading. F1 for setup. Here we go. These these chips ran hot, I remember. System summary. Yeah, 3 GHz Pentium 4. Intel graphics. 160 gig SATA hard drive. A floppy drive, that's so cool. Pentium 4 with hyper-threading. Nice. 1 gig of RAM. It might be a really good DOS box. I mean, Pentium 4 is pretty overkill for DOS, but what are you going to do? Oh, the RAM's actually IBM branded. Nice. Awesome, I like that one. Nice and clean. It's got the IBM logo on it. And that floppy drive. Another works. So it's a P4HT 3.0, 1 gigabyte of RAM. It's so bad. Even on XP it was pretty bad. You wanted, 1 gig was pretty minimum for XP, you wanted 2. Once you started trying to do some work on XP, if you didn't have 2 gig, it was a bad time. Alright, 160 gigabyte HDD. It's got an FDD, that's exciting. Boots to XP Pro. Maybe we'll leave XP on there, it might be our XP machine. We'll just reinstall it. Next, another Think Center. This one doesn't have the IBM logo on it. It's got the red dot on the Think. It's a Lenovo though. It's got a Windows 7 Pro sticker, DVD multi-drive. There you go, Core i5. Ooh, Lenovo Enhanced Experience 3. Whew. DVI, VGA, PS2 ports, seeing them a lot. This might be a tidy little machine. It's got Lenovo embossed on there. Nice. Little tiny power supply. These are a pain to get hold of. Look at this shroud here. It's got foam all along the top of it. The foam's still spongy. 2 RAM slots, both filled. Probably 4 gig, I imagine. There's a hard drive in there, I can't see. Some instructions here. Take this off and then lift that up. Alright, let's do that. So this pops forward. There's a little cable holding the rest of it on. And this levers up. Look at that, that's pretty handy. Can work on that. What do we got? Terabyte Seagate. RAM sticks. That's 2 4 gig sticks. Nice, came with 8 gig stock. Well, it looks. Hynix. Might have been upgraded. Who knows? It's got 3 SATA slots. Ports, I mean. PCI Express. You'd have to get a low form factor card for that. I wouldn't be interested in using a video card in an old machine like this anyway. More fun using them how they are. Yeah, I don't mind that design. I'm not super keen on popping the front off, but I like the lever up action. I think this will just boot straight to Windows 7 Pro. Come on, baby. Ooh. Fans work. No keyboard. Sorry, my camera stopped. Yeah, it's got Zen Server on it. This might have been me playing around with Zen Server, just looking for any handy machine I had. It wouldn't have been... Zen Server's a virtualization server. You run virtual machines in it. A machine like this with a terabyte hard drive, I guess it had what did I say, 8 gig of RAM in it? Or 4? Yeah, you wouldn't run too many virtual machines on this. Probably for testing, I imagine. Zen Server 6.5. Lenovo. It's got IP address. Nice. Time's wrong. It's 10:21. Cool. See if we can get in the BIOS and grab the specs. I think this is probably a good machine. Yeah. Alrighty, I think it's at a M72E. Core i5, so 3rd gen i5. Yeah, 8 gig of RAM. 1 terabyte hard drive, not bad. It's got a mouse pointer in the BIOS screen too. Pretty ordinary looking BIOS screen. Why has it got a mouse pointer? Looks like it's a normal keyboard driven BIOS screen. Why would you want a mouse in there? Just to test that your mouse works, I guess. So what is it? i5 3470. Let's write that down now before I forget about it. Works. So i5 3470. 8 gig. Nice. There was a license for, what was it, Windows 7 Pro? Here it is. Yeah, Windows 7 Pro. Cool. I like that one, and I like the look of it. Nice form factor. Make a nice little office machine, these used to. Probably still would. 3rd gen i5 was pretty good. Still pretty good. As long as you're not playing games. Alrighty, I'm happy with that one. This one feels like an empty case. Very horribly dusty and rusty. Rusty USB ports. All of this is rusty. Front panel's not on very good. Cooler master case. Rust master. Oof. Man, inside looks horrible. Okay. So these are the clamps for the drive bays. You don't need screws. They're a good idea. Well, it's horrible. Very dusty. Rust. Well, if we desperately need a case, we can look at cleaning it up. Otherwise, yuck. Where I used to live, we lived near the beach, and everyone there had their computers would, rust. You see all this rust around the fans and the ports, laptops, the USB ports would rust really quickly. I had some customers who said, they couldn't have a TV for more than, a couple of years before it's rusty and starting to play up, because they're living right on the beach. It's got a XP Pro sticker on it, so that might be worth salvaging at least. This next one, I don't know, it might be empty too. Oh, Christ. Some noise in there, I think it might be empty. Big Antec case. It's got USB 3 on the top, look. Actually, I remember these things had trouble. The USB ports would fail in them. And it was a real pain to get the module in the back there replaced. It's got a huge fan on the top. Check out that thing. It's open. Everything's black powder coated. Just an empty case. Window on the side panel and a fan filter. It's got water cooling grommets. There's a power supply just floating in there, but I doubt that was the one that was with it. Just one that was thrown in there. 420 watt thermal master. Some generic brand. Yeah, well, if we need a case, this might be a better option than that other Cooler Master one. I've got a few spare motherboards and CPUs and whatnot, so when we run out of other things to do, maybe we'll build something up. Next, not a bad looking case, bit big and chunky. Heavy. Now this one. This case housed my file server for a long time. Before that other one. It's got these open up flappy things. All the dust filter crap on the top, on the front. It's got a 3.5 inch bay there. Aluminium. It's got this little flap on the top. You can see it. Pretty annoying and hard to use. It's a really annoying place. Like I suppose you'd put your external drive here and then plug it in there with this stupid flap. Oh, here's the other feature. This whole front just opens up. So you can get to your drives. Your fans. Not a bad case anyway. What do we got in here? It's got a 1TB Western Digital Blue, 3.5 inch drive, laptop drive. No RAM, so the RAM's been pilfered. Looks like AMD, yeah, AM3. That heatsink's caked in dust. That motherboard, GA970A D3P. I think that was a pretty good motherboard. It's got two PCI Express. It's a 16 by and a 4 by. Solid capacitors. Uh, 500 watt thermal take power supply. What is it? Light power, yeah, cheaper model. And on the back, USB 3. Still got PS2. No onboard video. No RAM. Well, we'll see if it complains that there's no RAM. Let's see, there's a heap of SATA cables in here. I said it was my file server, so I had hard drives in it. That'll be why this little drive's in here. It wasn't important. On your file server, the OS just boots up and then that drive doesn't do much. It's all on the rest of them. So DDR3. Just want to see if it beeps and complains. It might not even have a speaker. So. Throw this in. Video card. I don't expect to see anything just yet with no RAM, but I just want to see signs of life. Got to open this flap to get to the power button. Oh, I've got power. Ooh, that's a bad noise. Sounds like the power supply might be on its way out. It's a coil whine. Not beeping. Let's see if we can find some RAM. 2 gig stick of DDR3 should do us. Be interested to know what sort of CPU that is. Athlon XP probably. Not much happening. The power supply is not real happy. Well, we're not getting anything. That's a shame. I like that board. I wouldn't mind knowing what that CPU is. It's probably the power supply that's letting it down. Oh well, we'll make note of it and come back around to it. So it's an AMD of some sort. Yeah, 1 terabyte hard drive. Western Digital Blue. I'm never a fan of those. They fail a lot. It's a good case. Good case with no rust. Alrighty, so not working. How many not working ones did we have? 3, 4 maybe? Not working altogether? I mean, it powers up, but I don't know, it could just be the power supply, right? So it's AMD, we don't know what yet. No RAM. It's got a 1 terabyte drive. PSU wine. Spelt wine incorrectly. WH. PSU wine. No post. Alright. Might be easy enough to fix that one. It might just need a power supply. Be excited to see if we can get that one going again. I really like that case at least. We'll use it. And the motherboard. I hope that motherboard's good. Well, that concludes our look at the old PCs I've got laying around here. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode where we'll grab one of these and dive into it, clean it right up, and see if we can put it to good use. If you've got any ideas of what we could do with some of these machines, then throw it in the comments. If you like what I do, have a go at that subscribe button down the bottom. If you're able to, then your support on Patreon or Ko-fi is greatly appreciated. Thanks, guys.